Hey guys, I'm back again and I'm here to do my October wrap up for 2022. Okay, so this month I did not read, the month of October didn't read a lot, and that's just mostly because work was a little bit hectic, but I did get to throw in a few videos for you guys to see what I was up to lit-wise the month of October, so you can go and check those out. So let's get started. I have 4 books to talk about. I'm going to make it as brief as I can without telling you too much, but enough to let you know. Okay, so the first book that I read last month was this one right here. And this book is A Severed Head by Iris Murdoch. Okay, so this is the first Iris Murdoch book that I have read, and oh my goodness, this was quite the classic treat. Okay, so this is considered to be a modern classic, and this is a story of a lot of personal relationships that go so very wrong. And it's the outcome of those relationships. And I wouldn't even say it's more the outcome. I would say it's more like the workings of it. So how do the relationships form and what happens once certain relationships become outed, for lack of a better word. And oh my goodness, I tell you, this book is some mess right here. It starts off like the opening page starts off and you're just kind of going, oh my God. So I read this one on Kindle. That's why I don't have it with me. And yeah, I highly recommend Iris Murdoch's A Severed Head. Yeah, get that book. It's good. Get that book. The next book I read was this one right here, which is called Never Far From Nowhere. And this was the October pick for the Read So Lit book club that I run over on Patreon. This is by Andrea Levy. This book also was a very interesting look into Black British life in the 70s and the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. And we follow in this story 2 sisters, Olive and Vivian. Olive is the older sister and she is dark-skinned. And Vivian is the younger sister and she's light-skinned. And they are being raised by 2 parents who are originally from Jamaica. And they came over on the Windrush. And they have come over with this mindset that they are going to fit in with the white British at all costs, even if that means telling their dark-skinned daughter that she is white. Anyway, so you will find, and reading this book, it is not a, it's sort of like a book with a lot of showing, not telling, and it is, I guess you could say it's a look into life from 2 different sisters' points of view, from the dark-skinned sister who goes and has a different life, who gets married, and the younger sister who's living a different life, who is going to school and hanging around with some pretty unsavory people. And then throughout this, we see how the family deals with what is happening to these 2 sisters. But not only that, we, the reader, get an in-depth look at life for Black British people at this time period. So it's a very interesting book. It's maybe not Andrea Levy's best book from what I understand. Everybody says that her best one is A Small Island. And then they say that there's another book that has similar themes as this one, and it's called The Fruit of the Lemon. So I may probably get into doing a full reading of Andrea Levy's backlist because I am curious now. So that was this one. I think I gave this one 4 stars. And then the next book that I read was this one right here, which is Pot-Bouille by Émile Zola. This is book 10 in the 20-book series called the Rougon Macquart. And this was something else, okay? This one is a story that takes place in an apartment building in Paris. And this apartment building is mostly middle class to upper middle class French. And so we are described a little bit in the first, I would say, quarter of the book, what this building is like. And so on each floor, so like the 5th floor is where all of the servants stay, and then the 4th floor and 3rd, 2nd, like that. And on the bottom floor is a shop which is called Au Bonheur des Dames. And the main character in this story, who is from the Rougon family, is Octave. And so we follow Octave, who has come to Paris to sort of make it. But in the beginning, we follow Octave as wanting to sow his wild oats. That is, he wants to conquer the Parisian woman. And so from there turns a story of a lot of ins and outs between couples, and it focuses on the hypocrisy of the bourgeoisie at this time in 19th century concerning marriage, affairs, even down to paternity, and et cetera, et cetera. It's a hoot. Okay, this one is a hoot. Definitely don't miss this one. Okay, and my last book of the month was this beauty right here, which is Second Class Citizen by the great Bourchier Machetta. So this is my second Bourchier Machetta, and oh my gosh, this book was so freaking good. I don't know where to start with this one. I just feel like you need to read it. But this basically is another story of immigrants and them living in London and trying to make their way. But it quickly becomes a story of a couple and the difficulty it is, particularly for the woman. The woman is a second-class citizen, not only as a person living in Britain, Black person living in Britain, but also as a wife. And let me tell you, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful story, full of ups and downs, but tells us a lot about life in Britain in this time period, and really worth reading. If you haven't read any Bourchier Machetta, you could definitely start here at Second Class Citizen, or you can also start with The Joys of Motherhood. That one is also very good. So those are all of the books that I read this month. Comment below and tell me what you read last month. And if you read any of these that I talked about, tell me what you think about them. And I will be back really soon with another video. Bye.